Group motion, please. 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And can I take this time to congratulate you on your, call it, elevation to the role? Not had a chance to do that yet, so congratulations on that position. Look, we are, as some people know, in the run-up very shortly to some local elections, and we're all going to be preparing slightly differently for these. But one thing that is going to be discussed quite regularly and has been through consistent local election is overdevelopment and housing targets in Havering. Everybody talks about them at election time. We talk about them, the residents' associations talk about them. We put quite a lot of effort into our messaging around stopping overdevelopment in Havering. But what none of us ever seem to do is actually put forward workable promises. We say we're going to stop it. We say there's a problem with overdevelopment. And then the minute we get elected, it's the government's fault for top-down housing targets. There's an element of truth to that. We can't stop these top-down housing targets. But we've all been elected specifically on fighting overdevelopment. So as that's an election promise, it's incumbent upon us all to come up with a deliverable, practical solution, something that you have control over, something that we have control over. One of those tools available to us is a neighbourhood plan. And it's something that this chamber hasn't discussed for quite some time, but I'm aware some members opposite have raised in the past. And I don't know if everybody knows exactly the detail of what a neighbourhood plan is. So I'll run you through a little bit of the technical and then tell you why these are what we need in Havering. Neighbourhood plans are pulled together and shaped by the residents themselves. They don't come out of this chamber, they don't come out of officers, they don't come out of local planning experts in City Hall. They come out of a group of residents getting together and saying that this is what we want in our area, in our neighbourhood. Neighbourhood plans still have to respect those housing targets that are set by government. You can't overrule them. But it gives residents the chance to decide what that looks like. It could mean that residents say, well, our neighbourhood plan, we don't want flats, we want 2, 3, 4-bed houses. Who here in this chamber doesn't want houses in their ward instead of flats? We all want houses, we don't want flats. Well, a neighbourhood plan gives you a legally binding way of delivering those. We've got a master plan, we've got a local plan that's been refreshed. Local plans are supplementary planning documents. They're advice, they're guidance. When a neighbourhood plan is in place, developers have to follow what the residents have put forwards. And that's why I think that's what we all need to be fighting for in this chamber. We've been elected on the promise, each of us, to fight overdevelopment, to push back on national housing targets. And yet nothing that we've done for the last 3, 4, 5 years, even further back, nothing has stopped these targets coming on us. And we have development after development after development planned. My ward alone has thousands of homes planned for it. 1, 2, 3-bed flats. They do not meet the housing need here in the borough. So our motion is really simple. We're going to take back control of planning, like we've been promising to in our manifestos, and like I'm convinced you're all going to promise in the run-up to the next election. We're going to give control of planning to residents rather than to planning officers sat in the City Hall or sat in government. There's a few important technical things to note as well. The council can't itself create a neighbourhood plan, but we facilitate the creation of them. And what we can commit to doing this evening is to working with residents to designate these neighbourhood areas and start putting the resource and officer time to supporting the residents in developing these plans. I'm sure we're going to have a really fruitful discussion on how we take back control of planning here in Havering. I see the motions are all talking about local plans, and I think that's great. I think a refreshed master plan is brilliant, but that will not give us the control and the legal control that a neighbourhood plan is. So I encourage all of you, as you think about your manifestos and what you're going to be fighting for going forwards, think of an actually deliverable solution to taking back control of planning, and you'll find that a neighbourhood plan is the best way to do that and to return control to our residents. Thank you.
Thank you. May I have... Thank you. We now move on to the replies. Leader of the Conservative group, please. I'm just reading this. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. It's I'm I'm not the leader of the Conservatives. I've been called many things, but not many things, but not that. There you go. Yeah. Let's not. Look, first of all, I want to thank everybody for the constructive conversation. Look, it's a political hero of mine coined the phrase that we'll all know in here. I'm too young to know it's impossible, so I'm going to go and do it anyway. I've not proposed something impossible, though. I've proposed something, as Councillor Wilkins says, it's incredibly tough. It's very, very tough to engage residents. But that's what we're here for, isn't it? That's what we're elected to do, is to get our shoes on, go outside and engage residents. I want to just read, Councillor Williamson made some very good points. I want to read just a guidance note from the government on neighbourhood planning, because I think some people have misunderstood what I've put forward here. And I apologise if I've misspoke. I'm not a NIMBY. I'm what I call a SIMBY. I want something suitable in my backyard. You know, we've just heard, haven't we, 16 and 17-year-olds are going to be given the vote. Well, let's work out what we're going to offer them. And what we need to offer them is homes, places to live in, places they can afford. And that's what I want for the young people in my borough. That's what I want in the ward. I don't want to stop development. I've never proposed stopping development. I've proposed that we need to have more control over it. We need to have more say over it. What the planning note, the note from government says about neighbourhood plans is they allow residents, and I quote, to choose where they want the new homes, shops and offices to be built, to have their say, the residents' say, on what those new buildings should look like, what the infrastructure should be provided, and grant planning permission for new buildings they want to see go ahead. The government says that neighbourhood planning provides a powerful set of tools for local people to plan the type of developments that their community needs. We've heard people talk about what the community needs. Councillor Darville said we need more social homes and we need family homes, but we also need flats. Councillor Wilkins, we don't want to chop up the green belt and suddenly propose a load of homes on it. We're all in agreement with this, and we're all going to go out and pound the streets in the election and say, we'll stop overdevelopment. Here's your tool for making sure that they don't build on the green belt in that way. Here's the tool to make sure that it is flats in your ward, Councillor Darville. These are the tools made available to the residents, not to stop planning, not to go against the legislation that Councillor Williamson said. This doesn't go against it, but it gives us the ability to fine-tune those developments when they do reach our ward. And I think that's an incredibly powerful tool. I completely appreciate 6 months. Yeah, maybe it is a bit of a fantasy, but you didn't amend the motion to say, we'll take a little bit longer. We didn't amend the motion to say we can't technically do this. We've amended it to just forget about the idea of neighbourhood plans. And I'd really ask you to reconsider that. What we can do is begin going out to residents and saying who wants to take part and create a neighbourhood plan.
Thank you very much.